Welcome to Stay Paid, your number one sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals, keep more clients, and build the life of freedom you're working towards. That can only happen if you're willing to take action today. My name is Josh Dyke, Chief Marketing Officer at Reminder Media, joined as always by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media. And our guest today is Mike Kirtley. Mike has been a key member of AC Company since 2019 and now leads the vendor partner program there with a background as a successful nationwide exclusive agent where he led his agency's transition to independence. Mike has built a reputation for navigating change with skill and strategy. Mike, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Guys, thank you all. This is an honor. I'm really happy to have this opportunity to sit down with you all.
Yeah, Mike, we love having you on the show. I love the AC Company, Kenny and the boys there and everything that you guys are doing. You're really blowing up and taking over. I'm really interested to dive in because you run your own agency as an insurance agent. And for every business listening to this, whether you're in real estate, insurance, financial advising, we have a myriad of businesses that listen to the show. I think they can get some great takeaways from you on ideas of how to reach your community and build your brand, because that's always what we're trying to do as a business owner. It's like, hey, we want to get in front of our ideal target audience and get known, like, and trusted. The question for all of us is, how do you do it? How do you do it from a cost effectiveness? How do you do it from a return on investment? You're unique because you're in like a really rural place.
Yeah, I'm in West Virginia. So our whole state's population is like the same population of Tampa, Florida. So it's a little more logistically difficult here. But you're right. It's top of mind awareness. Insurance, I've always said, is something that's very, very difficult to market because you're reactive marketing. No one has, back in the day, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you had yellow page ads, you had billboards. I never got a phone call from anybody driving down the road, looking at a billboard going, that guy's pretty good looking. I'm going to call him for a quote. And that's never happened. Okay. People only buy insurance for two reasons. They have a claims issue or they have a premium issue.
Yeah, it's so true.
So how do you market yourself to be top of mind when one of those issues arises? And that becomes very difficult. You can't run Labor Day sales. You can't run all these other things that retail outlets do. So how do you market yourself? To your point, build your brand, because your brand's all you got. I mean, it's your name. That's all there is.
Yeah, so, and you see that with the big conglomerates like the Gecko for Geico, or the what is it, the Aflac,
the Emu,
yeah,
the Emu,
or
the
Flow,
Duck,
right?
Yep,
Flow, like all of them have built what we would consider like mascots, but branding to try to become more memorable to the consumer, because it's all about memorability. I said on a panel one time, this will shock people. I said on a panel in Phoenix, Arizona, and I believe it was a guy who used to help out and run marketing for Geico. And he had mentioned on this panel that Geico was trying to get in front of consumers like 37 times a month. And now, of course, it's a bunch of different mediums, right? TV commercials, billboards, postcards, emails, you name it.
Sponsored ads on Facebook.
Yeah, they're trying to hit you 37 times a month. If that doesn't teach you about the need to be frequent in front of your database, I don't know what will. Can you tell us how you have uniquely gone about trying to spread the Mike Kirtley brand in insurance in your community? I would love for you to start with the story you told me, I think, when we first got together, which about like the county fair, you literally do something at the county fair to kind of sponsor it. I thought that was super unique.
Yeah, West Virginia, I mean, every county here, they have a county fair every summer. I mean, you see it on TV sometimes in Texas or out west or something, but we still have county fairs here. A lot of states don't. We still do. And all the county fairs have livestock auction. I mean, these kids raise cows, chickens, beef, hogs. It doesn't matter. They raise these animals through the FFA programs in their schools, and they take them to auction. And those kids work their animals, and then they sell them, and they take that money and apply it towards college. I mean, that's what they do. Well, the people you meet at these auctions, these are the people that you want to have as clients. They're hardworking people. They have a home and an auto. They have kids that's going to be driving one day if they're not driving. Those are your target markets. They're the ones that fix problems themselves, don't turn in claims. So how do you get in front of them? Well, I'll go to the fair and buy a hog. I'll get in the auction
and
buy half of a pig or half of a cow. I mean, but what happens is you become relatable. And that's the one thing that I think so many people miss out on, especially in insurance. You have to be relatable to your clientele. I wore a suit this past May when I got married. Before that, I don't think I wore a suit for about 20 years because it's not me. If one of my clients sees me in a suit, they're thinking I'm going to a funeral. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just, so I got to be relatable to my clients. I wear jeans, I wear boots. I'm just like them. And when there's that relatability and then they see you're giving, it does nothing but launch your brand.
Yeah, that's the key thing. There's the reciprocity of your investing in things that they value and things that they do. And sincerely, like it's an authentic investment. And I see this a lot of times in marketing I call it endearment campaigns, where you are investing back into the community through a charity, through like sponsoring the Little League team.
Yep.
In essence, this is like another variation of sponsoring the Little League team.
Yes.
But you're buying a hog or whatever it is at the county auction, which is awesome. This is like where Josh and I grew up, because we both grew up in the in these country counties.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, but what you're doing is your brand is shown there, because are you buying it as Mike Kirkley Insurance or just Mike Kirkley?
Kirkley Insurance.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
so your brand
Kirkley
is being named, and then you're also connecting with the families. They see that you're one of them, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And like is not personality purely. It is shared values. Shared values. People that I am like is who I want to do business with.
Yeah. I heard something a long time ago that said, if you make a friend, you can make a sale. So you go to the fair, you buy something. The parents are thrilled that their kid was able to make money. They want to talk to you. They want to be your friend. Then you start talking to them about insurance. You're able to work with them and help them out. Well, they're going to tell everybody else in their family, because that's their niece, that's their nephew that got helped, when I bought their animal. So the word just starts spreading.
So the second unique thing you're doing, which I think is interesting, because we had a lady named Medicare Misty on the show. Shout out to Medicare Misty. You got to go check out her episode. She's like the queen of Medicare, and she just crushes it. But she also does some sponsorships around a race car driver. Can you share what you're doing, how you got into that and in this whole sponsorship thing and what happened there? Because I think it ties in.
It does. And this is it's a sad story, I hate to say, but I started sponsoring a guy several years ago. We have a local racetrack, several classes, street stocks, legends, all that stuff. And got to know him, got him as a client, great guy, never asked for a lot for sponsorship. He goes, whatever you can give me will help. I tend to give him more than he would ask for because he was so humble about it. So I sponsored him for years. Last November, October or November, it's been almost a year ago, was diagnosed with cancer. I saw him right before Christmas, and cancer took 50 pounds from him. He died in February. 54 years old, died of cancer. So the racetrack is having a memorial race for him. So what I done was I upped what I usually did. I spent extra money, but the race is now his memorial race, sponsored by Kirkley Insurance. Where I was his longtime sponsor, I wanted that to be part of the memorial that they're doing for him. So I've branded the whole race under Kirkley Insurance.
That is called the halo effect in psychology, which is like, I always am cautious when I talk about this stuff, because
make it sound cold.
Yeah, you don't want to make it. You don't do it. You did it because he's a friend. You did it because But the added benefit of that from a marketing standpoint, and this is the takeaway for people, is when you associate yourself with things that are good, people take that association and they apply it to the other things you do. So if you see me giving back at Reminder Media to the homeless or giving back, you naturally apply that's how Luke runs his business and everything, whether it's true or not. And hopefully it is true, but they apply that, and that's called the halo effect in psychology. So you should be thinking, hey, how do I get in front of my clients and invest in the things that they love? That's your county fair auction type thing that you did. Second is, how do I give back to my community in a way that showcases the values that I stand for, and I want to invest in the community, so you get the halo effect, because then that elevates. I mean, the example I always give when I'm speaking is the Fortune 50 companies all have a charity.
Right.
But the ultimate thing is they want to raise their stock price. Like that's what they're after, is they need to get their stock price up. Why do they have a charity? I'm not limiting that they are not good people. They are good people, but it's because they know, and the line I always use is, businesses know consumers want to do business with businesses of purpose, not businesses of profit.
Yes.
Profit should be the benefit that comes from doing things of purpose.
You know, I heard a pastor once say, if you do the right thing, blessings will chase you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you're doing, be it in your personal life, be it your business life. And that's something that just aggravates me to no end, is how many people have two different lives.
Yeah.
They have a business life and a personal life. It shouldn't be
Nope.
that way. You should be the
Agree.
same. So if you do the right thing, it doesn't matter. You're going to get blessed, be it at work, in your office, with new clients, at home. It doesn't matter. Just do the right thing. One of the things I started doing a while ago, and I do it every day, and honestly, this changes everything. I send out a gratitude text, at least one, no more than two, every morning.
Wow.
It can be to a client. It could be to a family member. It could be to a friend. I sent one this morning to a friend of mine who's an agent that we've just got a friendship with, and he's halfway across the country. And it's just simple. Hey, hope you're doing well. Been thinking about you. Want to tell you I appreciate you. Thanks for being there. Have a great week.
That's so great. Yeah.
But what
I love
happens
that.
is when you do that first thing in the morning, it changes your entire attitude for the day, because it reframes your mind into thinking, what can I do? Not what do I have to do? What can I do to help people, be it in insurance or anywhere else? And then it gets you thinking how blessed you really are.
Well, you know what's funny, man, is I saw an Instagram clip one time. So you got to fact check it to see if it's actually true, but it was powerful. You know, you can't totally believe what you see on TikTok and Instagram.
What?
But
it's
it
not
was
all true?
basically.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Let me redo some things. Hold on, guys.
I'm hoping this one. I'm hoping this is true, because I thought it was a pretty powerful example. It was basically that when you study the human brain, when the human brain is thinking of thoughts of thankfulness and gratitude, it cannot fire the part of the brain that is about worry and stress and anxiety.
No, I believe
And
that's
that
true.
it's like
I
a
believe that's true.
counter. It's a counter. It's like when you are firing the part of the brain that is all about thankfulness, it's. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's like it defeats the part of the brain that's firing
Yes.
about worry and
Yes.
stress and anxiety. And I thought that was really cool. I hope it is true,
I
because
think
that
it is true. Yeah, I really think it is true.
I know biblically it's a true thing. I don't
Yes.
know physiology wise, because I'm not, I'm
Well,
not
but it's
educated
true.
enough.
Let's talk about running a business. How many times, they say the life of an entrepreneur is the highest of highs, the lowest of lows every 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, that's how.
And that's true. If you're running an agency or any business, it's all
I
day
was
long.
in Phoenix, Arizona last night, feeling on top of the world. And yesterday I came back to the office. Cover yours, Josh. Josh wasn't here though; he was on vacation. Maybe this is why I felt that. I came back and I was just like, God, man, I went from like level 10 to -2.
Right.
Because of all the problems.
Yeah.
That it's like and it's just amazing how it's just like I came in so motivated and left so defeated.
Yeah.
And so it's like it happens to everybody, because it's just like when you are taking whatever it is, the content in that's punching you in the face.
Yep. And what happens is you get that all day long, every day, right? And eventually you become paralyzed by it. I mean, it kind of causes even a mental paralysis. You're not as creative. You're down. You're stressed. Now you're worried.
Yeah, seriously.
So the first thing you should do right then is go do something good for somebody.
That's so well said.
I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Literally, help an old lady get something off the top shelf at the Walmart. It doesn't matter. One ripple effect will have more. So when you start doing that, you're absolutely right. I think you're 1,000% on point. I think it is physiologically true, because it is biblically true. And that is, when you give, it does change who you are. And it doesn't have to be money. It's anything.
Yeah, it truly does.
What if you can kind of, for everybody listening, like, what do you spend on those types of programs, whether it's the county fairs? Like, are you comfortable sharing, like, what do you actually
So
spend on the community?
If you buy a cow, which I typically don't, because I can't eat I can eat a lot of meat, but that's a lot of meat. I mean, I'm good with a T-bone a day, but now after a while, I got to take a break. You're $3 or $4 grand before butcher bills and everything. You can buy a hog anywhere from $750 to $1,500. I spent $2,500 for the race. Okay. So it's not major money, but it's enough money that it helps, and it turns heads.
Yeah, and it makes you pay attention, because you're spending enough to where you want to make sure that you're doing You're doing a good event, or you're doing, you're actually getting a bang for your
Yes.
buck. Can you talk a little bit, because that's a great segue into the Chamber of Commerce strategy,
Yeah.
which I don't think a lot of people are doing. I thought this was unique. Can you share about that?
Yeah, so our local chamber, I just joined our local chamber because there was a new president that used to work with my wife. So she's been wanting me to join. I've never joined, and we've talked about it back and forth. And I told her, I said, here's the issue. I don't like joining anything and riding bench. That's just not me. If I join something, I want to make a splash. I want people to know I'm there. So my wife last year in our local chamber, they have a thing called Leadership Huntington. I'm out of Huntington, West Virginia. And you have to apply for this. They only take so many per year, like 2 dozen. It costs $1,500, and it's once a month. They actually go to different business types. They learn about the area. They learn about leadership. So this is a thing for people to become better in the business world here in our local area. Well, that costs $1,500. Not a big deal. However, there are a lot of people that apply that are 1 or 2 years in business. They don't have $1,500, or a nonprofit that is hard to justify that. So what I decided to do, I signed a 3-year commitment that I would sponsor a scholarship through the chamber for someone to attend this Leadership Huntington annual training class for the next 3 years. So I'll be sponsoring 3 different people. I signed a 3-year commitment. So I'm paying for them to go through. Now, in conjunction with that, I had to be on the selection team, and I had to be on the criteria determination team. If my name's on it, I want to make sure I know what criteria I'm looking for. I don't have to have final pick, but I want to be involved if my name's on it. And of course, that met with no resistance whatsoever. They were thrilled that I wanted to be a part of it. So now it's going to start next August, but I'm going to have a scholarship under the Kirtley Insurance umbrella to help build business owners in our local community.
Yeah, it's so smart, man.
Well, and think about the
business
chamber.
owner client for life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like what a great way to influence the other people who want to influence people in their community.
Right, and look at it this way: if you're an insurance agent, who's your target market? Your target market is the 40 to 60-year-old married family with kids and a house, a couple cars, maybe a teenage driver. I mean, that's who you want, because that business it's the stickiest business. You have you have better retention. Well, our chamber has 650 members in it. Most of them are business owners or business leaders.
Okay.
There's 650 of my desired clientele right there.
Yeah, see, I don't see a lot of people. We've never really heard people, maybe 1 or 2 over 700 episodes, talk about Chamber of Commerce. We should really try to find an expert in the Chamber of Commerce.
And here's why. I've been to several of the events. They do the after hours, and they'll do all this stuff. And here's what happens. Everybody gets a click of friendship. And then when you go to these after hours, the same 4 people are talking to the same 4 people at every event.
Yeah, it's very hard to teach people how to be good networkers.
Right. Nothing happens. So what happens is the chamber ends up not being a marketing tool for who you are, because no one does anything. You've got to take the step. I mean, that's the thing. The door's open, but you've got to be the one to walk through it.
So you're really successful as an insurance agency owner. Why is it that so many insurance agents fail within just a couple years? What is it about the ones who make it versus the ones who don't that you see?
Well, I will tell you the first part about that may have nothing to do with the person. It may have to do with the climate of the industry.
Okay.
So if you think about from COVID up, it has been the worst 5 years, and it's turning now. So thankfully, the end of last year started turning. This year, it's turning a lot more. But we've had the worst 4 years in history in insurance. Premium hikes were across the board. Carriers quit appointing anybody. I mean, no one could get an appointment. If you didn't have one, you couldn't get one. We had massive inflation, supply and demand issues. COVID brought all kinds of other issues to the table. So you could have a person who tried in the past couple of years, they could get one appointment, but if their premiums were too high, they were out of business. They couldn't sell enough. So a lot of it is the agent. A lot of it is the timing, and the market conditions. Stock market has bull and bear markets. It's the same with insurance. It's just not market. No one tells anybody about it.
Yeah.
Now, let's say it's a good market. Maybe they're just not relatable. There was a guy that moved into a local hometown and he wore a suit every day. No one in that town wore a suit. I hate to keep coming back to that, but they're afraid they're going to get screwed by him. Now, who's this guy trying to? What's he trying to sell me? I don't know him. So there are
it's
so
like
many.
knowing your audience. I think that's where the
read the room,
trickiness.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where the trickiness comes in, because you almost have two tension-based things. And this is life. Life is always about push and pull.
Mhm.
But you have one where it's like, what if he is a guy that actually does wear a suit and that's what he enjoys, but he can't connect to the community. So now he has to be a chameleon to change himself. But then you have the other, that's
but then
the push.
he's not real and you can sense it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you go, how do you win?
Yeah.
How do you win at that point?
And it's tough. It's really tough.
That's why I think it's like where my mind goes. I don't know what you guys think about this. My mind goes to the universal currency that is out there is if you provide value to people, if you give more than you take, then it's like I see it as like volume and value. If you look at a scale, you go, if I can stack the volume of touch points that I do for somebody with the value that I give, and I can outweigh the competition, the other people in the industry that are trying to earn that same client, and I have more volume, meaning I'm in front of them more, and I have more value being delivered, then I'll win every time.
Yeah. And see, I do something different. I never wanted to be that insurance guy that everybody makes fun of, right? So I don't.
Should I tell him, Josh, or no,
I probably am.
I'm just kidding.
But I mean, here's a great example. My chiropractor. He's a friend of mine. He's been to my house many times. I'm not going to tell you his name, but I'll tell you how close of a friend of mine he is. A couple of years ago on my birthday, he called me and asked me if I was home. I said, yeah. He goes, well, I got something for you. He brought me a mason jar of clear homemade moonshine.
Oh, that's awesome.
And homemade dynamite.
This will help your back, yeah.
And homemade dynamite.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That is, I don't know if that's a friend or a frenemy.
Yeah. I mean, but.
What happened with the moonshine and dynamite?
Yeah. I'll let your mind go with that one. But needless to say, that's what happened. Okay.
It went boom.
It went boom. But he called me this morning, closing on a house. I have none of insurance now. He's been a friend of mine for 12, 15 years. I've never once asked him about his insurance. He knows what I do.
Yep.
I never wanted him to say, oh, he's coming back in. He's going to ask me again. Never done that. Now, what happens is over time, you get all those people as clients.
Absolutely.
You get them because they know who you are. They know you'll come through in a pinch for them. They know, you've developed that give attitude. You've always tried to help people. And then when the situation arises, again, it goes back to the reactive marketing. He's having a problem with his current provider. He needed help. He called me this morning. He says, man, I got to have this. I said, you'll have it today.
That's
so I've got my staff working on it right now. We're working on a few things after this call. I'm going to reconvene with them, go over some numbers and figure out the best way to make it work for him.
Yep.
But I think too many people that start in this, they go wide open and let me write your insurance. Let me quote your insurance. When I got started, the guy that I started with had me sit down, and this has been 22 years ago, gave me a notebook, write down 200 people you know. Now, this was before Facebook. This was before iPhones. So you didn't have a contact list you could scroll through, right? Write down 200 names and then get their phone numbers. And he said, but here's what you do. Call them, tell them what your new career is, ask them to call you if they ever need anything, get off the phone.
Yeah.
Don't sell them a thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that's what I've done ever since.
It's so good. If you think about it tactically, right, it's like the reason why we tend to ask and try to sell people that don't need to be sold is because we are not reaching enough people. Our pipeline is not full enough. You got to get a bigger top of funnel to where you don't have the pressure to make a deal where there doesn't need to be a deal, right? You're a real estate agent. It's like, hey, look, it's okay if you're not looking to buy or sell right today. I just want to be there when you need somebody. And I heard it said once at a conference, I forget what conference it was at, but it's like people are living their movie. They're not living yours. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to reach people where you're at right now. But the truth is they're in their own movie. Your goal is to just be known, liked, and trusted. So when the point of their movie comes where they have that pain point, like your friend you're just explaining, they think of you. Yeah. And they come to you. But if you think of like the volume you put in of just touches and just relationship and the value that you put in, you just outweighed the current insurance agent that they had.
You're right.
and they had a pain point pop up with them where
And
they
then
couldn't
and they
service
call.
them, and then boom, they came to you. And
Here's
that's
something-
it in practicality.
Here's something I do every time I go out to eat anywhere, lunch with a client or a friend or dinner, what have you, doesn't matter. You all can't tell, I'm very personable. I know it's shocking, right? You have to draw it out of me, but I'm always joking with the waiter or the waitress. I'm always making everything fun, but it forms a bond quickly, because, my son is a server at a restaurant. I used to be when I was in college. That's a hard life because you got, some people are just buttholes.
Yeah, they're nasty, man.
They're
Yeah, they're nasty.
assholes. Yeah. Well, I make them feel good because everybody should feel good. But if they've had a good experience serving me, I always make sure I overtip because I came from the serving industry, but I leave a business card.
Smart.
I always leave a business card every table I leave. Yeah. And you would be surprised how many calls I've got because a server enjoyed the time with me just waiting on me. But I wasn't mean. I hate to say this, let's go back to what you learn as a 4-year-old. Always say please and thank you. You do what's right. Well, they like you, they'll call you. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. Well, what's a good tip? What's a good tip what do you tip? You tip 20%?
I tip higher than that.
Baseline would be 20, but if it's
20?
really good, I would do more.
Yeah, I'm usually in that 25-30 range.
Yeah, like bare
depends
minimum
on service. I won't go below 20 just because people need to live. I mean, that's
literally bare minimum is
Yes.
20. Yeah, but it's like normally you go over.
I usually shoot 25-30%.
Okay.
If they've done well.
I was just curious what you guys thought a good tip was. Yeah.
Yeah. And if they've done well, if they've been personable too, I'll 30% give or take. I mean, I frequent a few restaurants, and usually when I do, I'll get a little bit knocked off the bill, whether they didn't charge me for that one beer.
Yeah.
And there's always something. And I mean, I've been known to go as high as 40% or whatever to help them out, but that sticks with them. Then I leave my
It does, man.
card,
it's
and
like,
then it's, wow, this guy gave more. He was fun to deal with.
Yep.
It again, though, it builds the reactive marketing.
It is crazy. Like, and notice this the next time you're out there, cashiers, waitresses, waiters, people who serve on you, just the lack of just happiness.
Oh yeah.
And like and I try to tell my kids this, they're still young. It's like, hey, you gotta, basically bring what you want to experience. So if you want to experience joy and peace and happiness, you gotta be that in the room. Like, you've got to bring that to people and change the atmosphere.
I don't know, man. It might be you. Everyone seems happy when
they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's because
they see me walk in a room. It's like,
these
no, but
that's probably true.
You're onto something though.
But I'm saying when we were in Phoenix, we went to this sake house thing with some people after the conference, and that waitress was phenomenal. She was unbelievable. She's so happy. She was just, you could tell that she was professional, and but it was like the difference versus it's like average is nice.
Yeah,
but average is nice.
Average is nice. Well,
right? The nice waiter, but they're not going above and beyond. They're not trying to make it seem like a great. It's like, and I'm not coming at the waitresses and waiters. I'm just saying, even for yourself, it's like you're literally doing something so simple, which is just being happy and nice and making people laugh. Yeah, and it makes all the difference.
We talked about this a few minutes ago. When you do something nice, it changes your day. If you really want to change your day, if you go to any fast food restaurant, Walmart, those cashiers and people, man, they just get beat up all day long.
They do.
They are just beat up all day long. Don't go to the self-checkout. Go to where someone's checking you out and look at the woman there and just say, hey, you know what? Your hair looks really nice today.
Compliment goes a long way. Yeah.
She's going to feel noticed because no one else has noticed her at all.
Yep. Yeah, that's Dale Carnegie right there. How to win
but I mean, just people. Hey, you know what? Your hair looks really nice. She's going to smile. It's going to make her day. Oh. Yeah, and yours does too.
Oh, you're talking to me.
I was. I mean, it's
the beard. The beard
does it. Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, I can't go
Thank
there.
you.
I mean, I got the Santa Claus
Just
stuff.
fishing for
Look, you
compliments.
can't have everything in life, right?
I
I
know.
can't grow a good beard.
I can't either. You know,
I can't grow a head of hair.
Yeah.
And
Can't
so
have
we're
everything
all
in life.
behind a little, but
Yeah, exactly.
but no, seriously, when you go do something like that and you leave whatever store you're at,
Yeah, man.
there's a feeling inside of you that, man, you are Superman. You're on top of the world because that person felt noticed and you made a genuine change in her. You can go out and sell 10 policies after that because your mindset has shifted. You're in a better place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great life lesson, let alone.
Well, it really
business
is.
lesson, so.
It truly is.
And that's where I said earlier, people have two identities. They have their home identity and they have their work identity. That's where they mess up. You should be the same person all the time. And if you do that, life will get easier, I promise you, because you're not trying to be something you're not.
Guarantee.
Yeah, and you don't have to keep track of who you were to each
No.
person and what story you spun to each person. It just gets overwhelming.
Well, it does. I mean, you can't keep track
It's
of
like-
it for one.
It's like there's no freedom in that.
No.
Nah,
No,
I love it, Mike.
no.
Really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks,
Before
guys.
we close out here, let people know how they can learn more about you, learn more about AC companies, whatever you want.
Yeah, so the AC companies at jointheac.com. Great way to go and get connected with us there. For me, KirtleyInsurance.com or look me up on Facebook or Instagram. It's under the Mike Kirtley because there's only one of me. So I've got to be the, you know. But hit me up, DM me. If anybody's got questions, man, listen, I love helping people. I love giving advice. Not saying it's the best advice, but I love giving it. So if anyone needs anything, reach out to me. I'd love to help.
Well, we've had a lot of people on the show and have heard a lot of advice, and yours is pretty dang good advice.
That's
So
a line I'm
we
going to use on my
appreciate you.
wife, though.
Yeah.
I'll give you advice. I'm not saying it's the best advice, not even saying you want it.
Exactly. But by God, it's advice.
But I love giving it.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you all so much for listening. You can get the links mentioned in this episode along with the video over at staypaidpodcast.com. And if you like this episode and want to show your support, go to youtube.com/remindermedia. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. And the best way to support the show is simply to share this episode with somebody that you know. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram as well. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Akery. Mike, thank you so much. So many great takeaways, man, from people, sponsoring and buying something at the auction at the county fair to the Chamber of Commerce strategy. Heck, go sponsor a race car, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get around the people in your community with the values and the things that they enjoy and appreciate. That's how you're going to make a difference. Here is my action item, though, for you guys. It's very simple, but very powerful. If you listen to Mike, he wakes up every day and he sends 2 text messages of gratitude. And that is such an easy action item. And maybe you don't want to do the text. Maybe you just want to, at your local gas station or grocery store, just say a compliment to somebody to make their day. But I would challenge you over the next week, from this podcast to the next one you listen to, because you got to come back and keep subscribing and listening to Stay Paid. Send out 2 texts a day of gratitude to somebody in your sphere, one of your friends, one of your family members, just telling them that you're thinking of them, that you appreciate that they're in your life. Remember, between top producers and mediocre producers, the only difference is top producers take action. Take action on that today.